Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, if you've been keeping up, taking a look at a couple of social media pages for Wuthering Waves, you might have noticed something a little bit crazy recently. All of the splash arts for the game have actually been changed to, omit a certain detail. I'm not exactly able to put my finger on what's missing, but I just know that something is missing. But thankfully, Kuro Games has gone ahead, and while they've taken out one feature from a certain part of the game, they've added another feature to something else. What we've actually got on the screen over here is, of course, going to be the background report for Iuno. And I am particularly interested in actually covering some of the details that we're going to be getting over here in regards to her story, because one thing is clear at the end of version 2.6 part 1. Something serious is going on. So why don't we go ahead? We were able to, when we were taking a look at the Augusta report earlier before the patch, we got some clues for what was going to happen in the story. And so I'm hoping we can decipher a couple more hints from here. So let's start with about Iuno. Upside down view. Iuno hooks her feet on the curved eaves of the Tetragon Temple, which is kind of like where all the moon priestesses are, and lets herself go. Hanging upside down, she relishes the pull of gravity. We see her in, like, trees and shit, like, all the time. So, yeah, we also know her kit involves her shooting arrows from the air, so I guess it makes sense that she likes the sky. Above is the city, and below is the night sky. She's positively sure no one has ever looked at the city from this angle. And the moon, it's so close. She extends her hand as if reaching for the moon, cool air slithering through her fingers. She's brought out of her moment by an obtrusive voice. Iuno, what are you doing here? Below her stand a cluster of bewildered priestesses. So what? There's no rule in the game that says I can't hide here. You call that hiding? Then come and get me. See if you can. Alright, so we can see over here, starting from a younger age, which is, I imagine this is when she was like, maybe like a kid or something. She's been a bit of a mischievous sort of individual. And there is just some certain stills that I want to show from the actual story quest in 2.6 that really reinforce that line of reasoning. And the main examples that I'll show are just the incredible variety of just, like, facial expressions that this character is just, like, all about across the entire quest. We got, like, her over here, just, like, you can see, like, the size of, like, her eyes. She got that eye-rolling situation going on over here when, like, she's trying to get Rover to do something. You got that going on. Bus spamming. Then you got, like, all of, like, the hair flipping and all of that. Yeah, this is just a bit of, like, an advertisement, isn't it? And then you got, of course, picture of that for then you got, of course, the big one over here. The legendary pout that she just spams off cooldown during the quest. I could definitely see those sort of vibes getting carried forward, so she's been consistent for a while. Spur of the moment. From left to right, refined sugar, powdered sugar, coconut sugar, the last one, honey. Iuno puts down the soup spoon. That's not a soup. That's not a soup, whatever the hell she's eating. That's diabetes. But I guess resonators can't get that disease. Lucky motherfuckers. She wipes a smudge of sweetness from the corner of her mouth. Spot on, all four. The restaurant proprietor exclaims. The customers watching exchange looks. Some sighing, some amazed. Big or small, a win is a win. It was a small promotional event, but Iuno did her utmost to win the competition, though what had motivated her was only a sudden craving for something sweet. What am I going to do with this? Iuno looks down at the voucher thrust into her hands by the proprietor, which amounts to a year of free desserts at the restaurant. Her eyes meet the envious gaze of the girl who has been watching the competition all afternoon. Okay, so this seems like, to me, this is like still in the past, and I'm guessing that the envious gaze of the girl, it's actually Augusta. Because think about it this way. They're using the terminology like girl, so way younger back in the day, and we know that Augusta, right, came to Septimont from her destroyed city when she was super young, and then did all the trading, gladiator stuff, all of that. So it seems like, despite us not seeing Iuno, like, at all during, like, the interlude quest, the overture quest, all of those, even during, like, Augusta's Resonator showcase, I think that this is kind of like how the bond between the two formed. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe this is somebody else, but we don't really see Iuno talking to anybody else, so This is probably what it is. Roll of the dice. Roll a 1. Take a stroll through town. Roll a 2. Go watch a gladiator match. Oh, she's doing gotcha. She's doing gotcha IRL. Roll a 3. I'll resume my nap. Yuno assigns activity to each number on the dice. She's in the mood to do something today, and so she decides to leave it to chance. Yeah, she's, I'm not gonna lie. She actually seems a little bit frustrating. It just, I see why she doesn't have a lot of friends. The dice tumble from her hands, spinning in the air, each number a possibility. Once it lands, she knows only one possibility will remain, while the rest will perish in the process. The dice never lands. Yuno catches the dice in midair. Whew. It doesn't count this time. Let's start over. Okay, so she's just repeatedly rolling the dice until it lands on a 3. Probably so that she has no reason, so that she has an excuse to, like, keep napping. It's like, hey, Yuno, why are you still why are you in bed all day? Oh, I rolled a dice to see what my task for the day was gonna be, and it just kept landing on 3. Yeah, I don't know how it happened. So when you consider like the massive sacrifice that she made at the end of 2.6, I'll just play it back. And at this point, yes, this is a spoiler, but like, what are you gonna do about it? We have this scene from the 2.6 quest, which is essentially the last time we end up seeing Yuno. And based off the characteristics, right, that we're like seeing in the report, she kind of seems like a very selfish person, right? She seems like somebody that doesn't make like a lot of self-sacrifices. Somebody that does whatever they want to do. You see a person like that literally make the biggest sacrifice of them all. There's a reason why there's such a big focus on the teardrop that's coming down her face as she's charging up this arrow. And then you just see it splatter, right? This is her using her forte at basically like maximum strength. And the drawback of Yuno's forte is that she essentially like deletes a part of herself every single time she uses the ability. And I'm pretty sure she just like discharged the entire fucking thing. And the reason for that, the only reason for that, it's entirely just because of Augusta. It is only because of Augusta, to save Augusta and ensure that she survives the encounter. And the context over here is becoming a lot more clear. I think Augusta is like this girl over here. You know, they meet during like the whole dessert thing. You're seeing all the characterization about how Yuno is like incredibly lazy, incredibly selfish. And then you have the whole juxtaposition of Yuno basically self-sacrificing herself for other people. And let's just be honest here, right? It's a bit of like a common trope, but it is something that I think is, we haven't really seen it in Wuthering Waves yet at all. And I'm just going to be honest, this is one of the most interesting moments, I think, in the Wuthering Waves story. Just seeing like how this entire relationship between the two is breaking down, how Yuno's situation is going to be resolved. I think it's one of the most hype moments that we have coming forward. So the second half of 2.6, in my opinion, has had so much setup. I can only hope that the payoff is going to be great. The priestess's living quarters, by and large, share the same air of solemnity as the nearby Tetragon Temple, except for Yuno's room. In her room, bedding soft as clouds takes up every inch of space, leaving hardly anywhere to stand. Dimly lit with soft music and forest-scented incense wafting throughout, the message is clear. Whoever's inside doesn't want to be disturbed. Oh, she's so lazy. They need sleep. The other priestesses take the hint, leaving the room and its inhabitants alone. It's important to stay well rested. Overwork can wreak havoc on the body if not remedied by rest. What I want to see is, after Yuno's story is resolved, I want to see Yuno and Zani just talk about their daily routines, right? Because Zani's literally the character, right? With permanent, like, eye bags. She's always drinking some type of incredibly strong, like, iced coffee. Always working overtime, doing all of that. And then we got this character over here who's looking for literally any reason to not do anything. Quite literally any reason to just stay in bed, manipulating dice, manipulating RNG. By the way, guys, she can actually also see the future. Yeah, I forgot to mention that. Iuno can see the future, and so that's actually why she catches the dice in midair. She sees that it's not the right number, and then just keeps throwing it up until the number that she knows is gonna lands. Or the number that she wants lands. She just goes again and again. Alright, so now, since we've clearly seen the type of character that she is, juxtaposed with her actions in the story, let's read a little bit about the Resonance Evaluation Report. And this is the part over here that I am really, really interested in. Because let's be honest, her resonance ability is why she is currently not existing. So what the fuck is even going on with it? This entry concerns the 127th priestess of the Tetragon Temple, known as Blank. She was born on the night of the hollowed moon. As a congenital resonator, her eyes are said to hold the power to... Okay, that's very cryptic. Her tacit mark, I think it's to probably see the future or something. Her tacit mark is located atop her left foot. We all know this. When she activates her resonance ability, Blank energy constructs with the shape of lunar phases, or blank energy constructs with the shape of lunar phases manifest around her, and the tips of her hair turn translucent, radiating a gentle glow that is almost indistinguishable from actual moonlight. Okay, neat. What the fuck does she do? Resonance spectral analysis reveals that her forte aligns extraordinarily closely with the frequency pattern of the natural moon, exhibiting a continuous phase-like modulation. Notably, 3 years ago, her forte appeared to blank. It became what the fuck? It became capable of and men. What? Enabling her to reveal moonlight, or to shape moonlight into solid arrows that can reveal monsters hidden in the dark tide. Where's the part about her deleting herself? Yes, I know she's like, she makes moon shapes and shit. Why did she delete herself? This entry concerns the the overclock diagnostic report. Maybe this is where it is. This entry concerns the 127th priestess of the Tetragon Temple. The waveform of this priestess remains largely within controllable parameters with no signs of overclocking risk. However, multiple interruptions of varying durations have been observed, accompanied by a gradual and consistent decline in her frequency. This suggests a possible state of long-term depletion. The underlying cause remains unknown. The priestess has refused further examination and shows limited willingness to engage in a deeper dialogue on the matter. Okay, so they're not revealing pretty much anything at all when it comes to what's happening over here. The main thing is that Iuno just doesn't want to really share details about it, which makes the fact that she shared details about it with Rover, I think, quite a bit more impactful, right? Because we remember that this entire situation over here, it was all to save Augusta. But one thing we've also noticed from this report is that it's not really even mentioning Augusta either. And so I feel like there needs to be some sort of way for us to, like, go to the past. We saw Augusta, right, with Angel during the flashback in the first half of 2.6. I imagine that there's going to be another sort of, like, flashback in the second part of 2.6 that shows maybe, like, Kid Iuno and Kid Augusta. Something along those lines, because we need to know why a person as clearly selfish as her decided to basically erase herself for somebody else. And if that is something that doesn't get addressed, or that's something that doesn't get, like, explored fully so that we get the full context, I feel like it is going to be, to a degree, right, pretty damn disappointing. Now, that's going to be, like, all of, like, the background information that we have available. There's some other stuff as well. You got, like, her appearance over here, just talking about how she's all moony. Yes, she's blue. Yes, she has lunar stuff. Makes sense. Head held high. Though a priestess, Iuno wears not the ancient priestess. Okay, why does she look like Goonerbait? Let's see the explanation. Let's see the lore reason for why she looks like Goonerbait. Though a priestess, Iuno wears not the priestess's ceremonial robe, but an ancient garment adorned with satin and gold. They were kind of freaky back in the day. Yeah, see, Septimat was a little freaky back in the day, if this is the ancient garment. Cat-like grace. Iuno slows down and on tiptoes leaps into the air, doing a backflip and landing with cat-like grace. As she moves slowly and leisurely, the gold she wears chimes slowly. She is always on the move. Makes sense to me. Yeah, I mean, she's just always, like, hopping around and shit. What else do we got in here? Anecdotes. She's a gacha gamer, ladies and gentlemen. She is a gacha gamer. Yep, we know that she just fucks around with these dice, puts a bunch of weighted odds on them, and then just assures what can actually happen. And I think the rest of the stuff in here is just like some very personal little anecdotes, some tidbits, and then of course, oh, they got her convene animation. Wait, let me take a look at this. Oh, that's good. Oh, that is, I think we saw this before on the live stream, but that's basically like, this is like Jinsei Supermax. This is the Jinsei Supermax convene animation. Holy shit, this is, I don't know if this one's better than Augusta's. I think Augusta's is like first place. This might be first or second place. This is the Jinsei Pro Max for sure. And then of course, right, everyone's favorite liberation animation ever. We'll be ready to explore more of Yuno's reveals as time goes on. Naturally, she is going to be the highlight and the spotlight of version 2.6. And do realize, ladies and gentlemen, Iuno is also arriving with 20 free pulls. She will be arriving with 10 Radiant Tides, as well as 10 Forging Tides, which are the limited and the weapon pulls. So, she's bringing with her some good gifts. And of course, I'm hoping, based off of what we're seeing in here, some really, really, really good story. So yeah, that'll be our coverage of this lore reveal that we have over here. Kuro Games is doing a lot of additional marketing and advertising for the second half of the version. I think this is the first time they've done it, and I think this is a pretty clever way that they've got it all going on. So excited to see you all in the second half. Let me know what you all thought. Peace.